recent years, humans have been clinging to a concept, a word really, that is supposed to ensure our survival on this planet. It has become the savior of the natural environment and the icon of best practice in business: sustainability. Sustainability refers to not using up all the resources or permanently destroying them whilst sustaining the practice, in this case business, over a long period of time.
It would be very easy to maximize production of our land, plant everything up, absolutely produce huge amounts of timber very quickly without worrying about looking after the soil or looking after the water or looking after anything else. We'd make money for the first 2 rotations, but you'd quickly deplete the soils or become unacceptable from an environmental point of view. So sustainability in that point of view means that we've got a balance.
The thing about sustainability is that it is really a complex issue. Sappi recognizes 3 pillars of sustainability: prosperity, people, and planet. And the trick is to manage the business in such a way that it is financially viable, environmentally sound, and socially responsible.
Sustainability really means staying in business while doing good business. But the question we have in forestry is, what are we trying to sustain? And from a Sappi point of view, obviously we want to continue to produce fibre for our market on a continuous basis, and that means that we have to keep growing trees on the same bit of land in as a productive way as possible, without losing productivity and without harming or being a problem, having a social impact that's unacceptable.
In a world that is financially driven, it would seem that this precarious equilibrium would always be tilted in favor of the prosperity pillar. But that would not necessarily be true sustainability.
In truth, it's about the balance. But I guess it's human perceptions, and if you're an accountant and you're running the business, the first thing you're going to do is count the beans and make sure that the money's there. So yeah, it's a real struggle to get the balance, and I guess that's why Sappi Forests have an environmental department. We're there to make sure that the company is aware of their environmental responsibilities. We're there to help them set environmental objectives and make sure that making money doesn't override the environment or people. And we have we have human resources and social people looking after the people side of things.
Now, to me, this sounds like a fantastic idea. But then again, I am an environmentalist, and I can also believe that there must be people, especially in a big business, who have to watch the bottom line, who find this whole idea of environmental sustainability maybe a bit like I almost want to say a Victorian era romantic notion. It has to have some real value. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense to keep throwing money on something like the crowned eagle pear, for example, who sits high up in that blue gum tree on the edge of the Karkleur Nature Reserve. Is it just pretty, or does it have real value?
Having that there gives us a lot of other things. It tells us that the ecosystem is healthy. There's prey for that bird there. It means that there's environmental processes happening within the plantation. It also shows the public that we're not impacting on areas outside the stand of trees. So that, in a way, is telling us important things. But yeah, you're right. The biggest impact or the biggest value we can get out of having those eagles there is to let the public know. It's an indicator that forestry actually isn't a huge, terrible impact on the landscape. Actually, it can fit quite well in the landscape if done responsibly.
Sustainability also means looking at management options from a different perspective. For example, to use biocontrol to fight weeds or diseases might not be the most effective or financially viable short-term solution. But in the long run, it has certainly proven to be a lot more sustainable.
The practice of slash burning is a really interesting sustainability issue. After you harvest the trees, all the branches and leaves and bark that get left behind create a huge biomass on the ground. It provides a lot of the nutrients for the future crop, but it also creates a whole lot of risks for fire and for people getting in and planting the next crop. So what we've done in the past in places, we've allowed slash burning, but we have very strict rules. Burn when it's wet and moist and cool and early mornings and things like that. So you don't burn everything up, you just burn the small sticks. But now in current times, what we've also done is changed practices to try and mulch using rotavators and using other methods of managing slash. So there's lots of ways that we've looked at it, and other ways of managing slash might be more expensive directly, but in the long run it might be better for the stand of trees or for the plantation. And so we have been able to balance those kind of issues and hopefully make the right decisions.
Economic viability of a business also means that the business needs to grow and tap into new markets. But is this in step with the concept of sustainability?
Unfortunately, in South Africa, we can't grow from an area of trees planted. There is no more land and water, so we're not allowed to grow from a planted hectare point of view. So the only way we can grow is by being more productive, growing better trees, being better at our silviculture, so be better at looking after the trees and getting new technologies in and being more efficient with the use of that fibre, so using it more. So that's how we can grow.
Essentially, progress is all about creating new markets. But discovering innovative ways to use resources may just put us on the true road to sustainability.
And I believe that timber or vegetation, biomass, is one of the saviours, future sustainable issues in the planet. So if we can get that right and creating more markets, using them more efficiently, I mean, even replacing fossil fuels might be good for the planet. So I think creating more markets to use timber is actually a good thing. We'd prefer that, as long as the timber is produced in a responsible way, and our plantation forestry in South Africa, I think, is. You don't want people now going into the woodlands of Africa or the tropical rainforests and just scrambling for that resource to use it because it's a resource. So plantation forestry has a great future, and it does need to be sustainable.